What if I told you that Borden's story isn't truly over? Imagine the shock, the heartbreak, and the hope that fans of Heartland have carried for years suddenly turning into something far greater. Ty was the heartbeat of the show, the character who grew before our very eyes, from a troubled teenager into a loving husband and father. And yet, his journey ended in tragedy, leaving viewers stunned, broken, and longing for more. But what if that wasn't the end? What if season 19 held a twist that no one could see coming? Ty returns, and when he does, everything in Heartland changes forever. Ty Borden was never just another character on Heartland, he was the soul of the story. From the moment he first appeared, arriving at the ranch as a troubled young man with a rough past, fans could feel that his path would be special. He carried the weight of mistakes he didn't fully deserve, scars from a childhood filled with pain and instability. Yet, through the love and acceptance of the Bartlett Fleming family, Ty began to find a new version of himself. The ranch became his safe place, and Amy Fleming became the light that guided him. Their connection wasn't instant perfection, it was real, messy, and filled with struggles. Ty's growth mirrored Amy's own journey of healing horses. Together, they learned patience, forgiveness, and resilience. Over time, Ty transformed from the reckless boy everyone worried about into the dependable man the family leaned on. Viewers watched him find purpose, first as a ranch hand, then as a vet in training, and finally as a devoted husband and father. When Ty and Amy's love story blossomed, it became the emotional core of Heartland. Every smile, every fight, every quiet moment shared under the wide Alberta sky pulled fans deeper into their world. Their wedding was a celebration not only for them but for the audience who had rooted for their love for years. And when their daughter, Lyndy, was born, it felt like the promise of everything they had worked so hard to build was finally complete. Ty's dream of a family, of belonging, was finally real. That's why his tragic death shook the Heartland universe to its very core. In an instant, everything changed. One moment he was there, full of life, planning a future, and the next, he was gone. The pain didn't just belong to Amy or Lyndy, it belonged to every fan who had followed his journey from the beginning. It felt like losing a friend, a brother, a hero. Many questioned how the show could go on without him, how Amy could find strength after such heartbreak, and how the family could fill the void Ty left behind. Yet, even in his absence, Ty's presence never truly left. His spirit lingered in every decision Amy made, in every challenge the family faced, and in the smile of his daughter who carried his legacy. He became a symbol of resilience, of love that never fades, and of the bittersweet truth that some stories end far too soon. But what if his story wasn't finished? What if season 19 dared to give fans something they never thought possible, the return of Ty Borden? As we look back on his journey, it becomes clear Ty's story is not just about loss. It's about transformation, growth, and the powerful bonds that never break, even when tested by tragedy. And that's why the very idea of his return shakes Heartland fans to their core. Because if Ty comes back, everything we thought we knew about this story changes. No one ever believed it could happen. Ty Borden's story was written, sealed, and painfully closed. But season 19 doesn't follow the rules. It tears them apart. Against all odds, Ty walks back into the world of Heartland, and it isn't just a casual cameo. It's a return that shakes the very ground the ranch is built on. At first, it doesn't feel real. Amy is the first to sense it, those quiet moments, where the air feels different, where the wind seems to carry his voice, where the world itself whispers his name. It begins as a shadow, a memory that refuses to stay buried. And then, without warning, he's there. Ty Borden, standing in front of her, as if the years of loss were nothing more than a cruel trick played on her heart. But this isn't just the Ty we remember. Time, distance, and mystery have changed him. His eyes carry secrets. His voice holds a weight that even Amy struggles to understand. Is this the same man who once promised her forever? Or is he someone new shaped by battles she knows nothing about? The shock of his return isn't just in his presence. It's in the questions he brings with him. How did he survive when everyone believed he was gone? Where has he been all this time? And why is he back now, at this exact moment, when Amy finally seemed to be finding her way forward? The ranch, once steady and sure, becomes a place of whispers and tension. Jack, usually the rock of the family, doesn't know what to believe. Lou feels torn between joy and doubt, afraid of what this means for her sister's fragile healing. And Tim, always quick to judge, demands answers that Ty isn't ready to give. But the most powerful reaction doesn't come from the adults. It comes from Lyndy. The daughter who grew up hearing only stories about her father suddenly finds him standing right in front of her. For her, there's no hesitation, no questions, just pure, childlike wonder. She runs to him, arms open, as if love itself had brought him back. And in that one moment, every wall Ty tried to build around his secrets begins to crack. Still, the questions linger. Fans are left hanging between two truths. Is Ty's return a miracle, or is it a storm waiting to destroy everything? Because, in Heartland, nothing comes without cost. Every joy is balanced by pain, every reunion by the shadow of loss. And Ty's reappearance is no different. This is not just a character coming back. This is a rewriting of destiny. Ty's presence forces everyone, Amy, the family, and even us as viewers, to confront the possibility that life can change in ways we never imagined. It's a reminder that sometimes the past doesn't stay buried, and sometimes love is strong enough to break every boundary, even the boundary between goodbye and hello. The shocking truth: Ty's return isn't just about him. It's about all of them. Amy's healing, Lyndy's future, and the fragile balance of the family that held on without him. His return is a spark, and whether that spark lights the way forward or burns everything down is the question season 19 dares to ask. When Ty returns, no one is hit harder than Amy Fleming. For years, she has lived in the shadow of his absence. She built her days around survival, learning how to be strong for her daughter, pushing herself to keep the ranch alive, and finding pieces of joy in small victories. But beneath all of that strength was a wound that never healed. Ty was her partner, her anchor, her forever. Losing him wasn't just heartbreak, it was losing half of herself. And now, suddenly, he's back. He first. Amy can't breathe. She looks at him and her mind fights against her own eyes. This isn't possible. She buried him. She cried for him. She said goodbye to him in 100 silent moments when no one was watching. And yet, here he is, standing in front of her. The shock collides with anger, with hope, with fear, emotions so tangled she can barely speak his name. Amy's heart is caught between two worlds. In one world, she has spent years learning to live without him. In the other, the love she felt for Ty never truly faded. His presence reopens every door she thought she had locked, every memory she tried to pack away, every dream she once shared with him under the open Alberta sky. But this reunion isn't the fairy tale fans might imagine. Amy isn't the same woman she was when Ty left. Grief hardened her. Responsibility shaped her. She carries the strength of a mother who had to face life alone. And now, she questions whether she can trust the man standing before her. Is he truly back for good? Or is he a ghost of what once was? Her confusion only deepens when she sees Lyndy rush into Ty's arms. The joy on her daughter's face is pure, untouched by pain or doubt. For Lyndy, it's simple: her daddy has come home. But for Amy, nothing is simple anymore. She has to protect her daughter, even from the risk of hope. Because if Ty disappears again, the heartbreak will be too much. Not just for her, but for the little girl who deserves the truth. Amy's nights grow restless. She walks the ranch at dawn, haunted by questions that have no answers. Why did Ty return now? What is he hiding? And most painfully of all, does she still have a place in his heart? Or has time changed him so completely that the man she once knew is gone forever? In her quietest moments, when no one else is watching, Amy finds herself pulled back to the memories that made her fall in love with Ty in the first place. His smile, his laughter, the way he believed in her when no one else did, the way he always came back to her, no matter how far he strayed. And it is in those moments that she realizes the truth. No matter how much time has passed, no matter how much pain she has endured, Part of her heart still belongs to him, but love and trust are not the same. To let Ty back into her life, Amy must decide if she is willing to risk everything she has rebuilt. Because his return doesn't just bring hope, it brings chaos, uncertainty, and 1,000 unanswered questions. For Amy, this is more than just a reunion. It is a test of her strength, her love, and her willingness to open her heart to the man who once shattered it. And whether she chooses forgiveness or distance will shape not only her future, but the future of everyone at Heartland. Ty's return isn't just Amy's story, it shakes the entire Heartland family to its core. The ranch, once a place of steady rhythms and familiar routines, suddenly becomes a stage for whispers, doubts, and uneasy glances. Everyone feels the weight of his presence, and not everyone reacts the same way. Jack, the rock of Heartland, is perhaps the most conflicted of them all. To him, Ty was more than a grandson-in-law, he was a son. Jack had seen Ty grow from a broken teenager into a man he could be proud of. Losing Ty carved a wound in Jack's soul that he covered with silence and hard work. Now, seeing him alive again is both a miracle and a torment. Jack's heart wants to believe, but his wisdom tells him to ask questions. Where was Ty all this time? Why didn't he reach out? Jack knows every miracle carries a cost, and he fears this one could break Amy all over again. Lou, ever the protective sister, reacts differently. She sees Amy's fragile hope and instantly feels the danger in it. Lou wants to celebrate, too. Run into Ty's arms and thank the universe for giving him back, but her instincts scream caution. She has watched Amy battle through sleepless nights, tears behind closed doors, and the crushing task of raising Lyndy alone. Lou can't bear the thought of her sister enduring that pain again if Ty's return isn't permanent. To her, trust isn't automatic. It has to be earned. And until Ty explains the truth, Lou refuses to let her guard down. Then there's Tim. His reaction is blunt, raw, and predictable. He doesn't celebrate. He doesn't question. He confronts. For Tim, Ty's return feels like betrayal, like he abandoned his family and left Amy to pick up the pieces. Tim's protective instincts flare, and he demands answers that Ty either cannot or will not give. But beneath the anger, there's something more. Guilt. Tim never fully knew how to support Amy after Ty's loss, and now he feels the sting of being unprepared for this second chance. His frustration hides his fear, the fear that Ty's presence could either heal the family or shatter it further. But perhaps the most surprising reactions come from the wider Heartland community. Friends, neighbors, and longtime ranch hands whisper about Ty like he's a ghost who has stepped out of legend. For years, people told stories about the love he shared with Amy, about the way he devoted himself to the ranch, about the tragedy of his death. Now, those same people are faced with an impossible truth: the man they mourned has returned. And while some welcome him with open arms, others look at him with suspicion, wondering what kind of man disappears from his family only to reappear when no one expects it. And then there is Lyndy. For the community, Ty's return is shocking. For Amy, it is heartbreaking and hopeful. But for his daughter, it is pure magic. She doesn't question where he has been. She doesn't weigh the risks. To her, her daddy is home, and that is all that matters. Her laughter, her excitement, her unshakable belief in him becomes the strongest force on the ranch. And in many ways, it is Lyndy who binds the family together in the storm, reminding them of the innocence and love that once defined them all. The impact of Ty's return spreads like wildfire, forcing every person at Heartland to face a choice. Do they embrace this impossible second chance? Or do they protect themselves from the pain of losing him again? The ranch becomes more than a home, it becomes a battlefield of trust, love, fear, and hope. And as the community leans in, watching every move, one truth becomes clear: Ty's return doesn't just rewrite his story, it rewrites the story of everyone around him. Ty Borden's return should have been the happiest moment in Heartland's history. A miracle, a blessing, the answer to every unspoken prayer. And yet, it doesn't feel that simple. Because when Ty walks back into the lives of those who loved him, he doesn't come empty-handed. He carries something else with him, something heavier than joy. He carries secrets, From the very first moment. It's clear. His eyes linger too long, as though haunted by memories no one else can see. His silence feels louder than his words. And when people ask him the questions everyone deserves answers to, where were you? How did you survive? Why didn't you come home? Ty's responses are fragments carefully chosen, as if he is protecting someone or something. Amy notices it first. She knows Ty better than anyone, and she can see the walls he's building, brick by brick, even as he tries to reassure her. Jack, with his sharp instincts, begins to wonder if Ty is hiding a truth too painful to share. And Tim, impatient and unfiltered, pushes harder, demanding explanations that never come. The silence only deepens the mystery. At night, the ranch no longer feels peaceful. Shadows stretch longer, as if the land itself senses something is out of place. Rumors spread quickly in the community. Some whisper that Ty was never really gone, that he chose to disappear for reasons only he knows. Others go further, weaving tales of betrayal, danger, or even enemies from his past that forced him into hiding. Every theory spreads like wildfire, feeding the tension that hangs over Heartland. But the truth is far more unsettling. Ty begins to drop hints, small, fragile pieces of a larger puzzle. He talks about journeys that nearly broke him, about nights he thought he would never survive, about choices he made that still haunt him. He doesn't give details, only fragments, enough to stir curiosity, but not enough to calm fears. The family begins to realize that his return is not the end of a story, it is the beginning of a much darker one. Amy feels it most of all. She lies awake, torn between the joy of having him back and the dread of what he isn't telling her. His presence warms her heart, but his silence chills it. She wonders if Ty is protecting her from the truth or protecting himself from what she might do when she learns it. Lyndy, innocent and trusting, doesn't see the shadows. To her, her daddy is simply home. But even she begins to sense the weight in the air. Sometimes she asks questions Ty cannot answer. Sometimes she notices the way adults fall silent when his name is spoken in hushed tones. The mystery deepens when small, unexplained events begin to ripple through the ranch. A stranger spotted near the property. A letter found but never explained. Conversations that end too quickly when Amy enters the room. It's as if Ty brought more than his presence back. He brought something the entire family may not be ready to face. And as the questions pile higher, one terrifying thought begins to echo through Heartland. Did Ty return by choice? Or was he forced back into a life he thought he had left behind? The ranch, once a symbol of home and healing, now feels like a stage set for secrets. And as much as everyone wants to believe his return is a gift, the mystery surrounding Ty suggests a darker truth. Sometimes miracles come with a price. Heartland has always been about family, love, and healing. But with Ty's return, that foundation begins to crack. What should have been a miracle feels more like a storm on the horizon. Every smile is shadowed by doubt, every embrace threatened by the questions no one dares to ask out loud. And as the days unfold, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Ty's return is not the ending of a tragedy. It is the beginning of something far more dangerous. One evening, as the sun sinks behind the Alberta hills, the ranch feels different. The air is heavy, charged, as if the land itself knows a secret it cannot keep much longer. Amy stands alone, watching Ty from a distance as he tends to a horse in the corral. His movements are familiar, but his silence is not. She wants to walk to him, to demand the truth, to beg for answers. But something stops her, a feeling deep inside her chest that whispers, "You're not ready for what he's hiding." Jack lingers on the porch, eyes narrowed, suspicion burning quietly in him. Lou paces, restless, her phone in hand, debating whether to call anyone who might make sense of this impossible situation. And Tim? He storms off into the night, muttering that if Ty won't give answers, he'll go find them himself. The family is splintering, not from grief this time, but from the weight of a secret none of them can control. Then, in the stillness of night, the ranch is shaken. A knock at the door. Slow, heavy, relentless. Amy opens it with trembling hands, only to find an envelope on the step. No name, no sender, just a single piece of paper inside, with words that make her blood run cold. You were never supposed to find him. Her heart stops. The letter trembles in her hands. Who left it? What does it mean? And most terrifying of all, if Ty's return wasn't meant to happen, then who decided that? Amy looks up, and Ty is there in the doorway, his eyes full of something she has never seen before. Fear. Real, raw fear. He doesn't reach for her. He doesn't speak. He just looks at the letter and then at her, as if silently begging her not to ask the questions that could tear their world apart. The ranch, once a sanctuary, now feels like a cage of secrets. Every member of the family knows it. This isn't over. This is only the beginning. And as the screen fades to black, one haunting truth lingers: Heartland will never be the same again. Ty's return has already shaken the walls of Heartland. His presence has reignited hope, reopened wounds, and stirred secrets that refuse to stay buried. But the deeper you look, the more it becomes clear. This story is not about what has already happened. It's about what comes next. Because if Ty wasn't supposed to be found, then who wanted him hidden? And why? That single question hovers like a storm cloud over the ranch. Amy feels it every time she looks at him, love pulling her closer, fear pushing her away. Jack senses it too, his instincts warning him that something darker is lurking just beyond the horizon. Lou can't shake the feeling that this second chance may come with a price they can't afford. And Tim? He's already on the hunt for answers, no matter how dangerous the truth may be.